Previously on The Sausage King, our future Sausage King finally proved that he wasn't bluffing. He didn't just talk about starting a sausage business. He took action, studied the regulations, and found a possible path around full USDA inspection. He also accepted a painful reality. Building his own factory is still nothing more than a dream. He decided to start small and rent space in a shared commercial kitchen, because the moment he signs that lease, the clock starts ticking. Every month he waits, his runway gets shorter. Good luck, my friend.
Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms. Today I talked with Winder about how much, what kind of lease I want and how I want to sign that lease. I think I'm kind of lucky. I met really good people. My Winder is pretty nice guy. And when I told him that my process that probably take 1 month or 2 months, a permit, something like that, the vendor just told me, yeah, for sure. He gave me first 2 months rent free. That's not finished. To that point, I'm thinking about maybe I should push him again. Yeah, and I said, can we do a 3 months free? My vendor just silence for a while. And I said, look, man, there's no kitchen doing that 3 months free on the market. You can go check yourself. And I know he's telling truth. But the free rent is just one of my goals. I have another one. Yeah, I wanted the rent discount. You know what I'm saying? I told my vendor I'm a small business just at the early stage. So if he can give me some discount, I'd be very appreciative about that. My vendor said, okay, my friend, listen, how about let's sign the lease 2 parts. First 6 months and the second 6 months. For the first 6 months, I pay $2,500 a month. And for the last 6 months, I pay $3,000 a month. But in the first 6 months, the initial months, they gave me half price. So which means I gotta pay $1,250 in the first month. So how much is my average cost? Blah 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 blah. $2,645.83 a month. Average.
Man, look at you. You found a kitchen and suddenly you're walking around like you just signed a deal with Costco. Relax, buddy. You don't have a sausage business yet. You have a room. That's it. A room with a sink. Now comes the fun part. You need equipment, paperwork, permits, packaging, a website, and about 50 other things that nobody mentioned during your little victory celebration. You know what's funny? A few weeks ago, your biggest problem was finding a kitchen. Now that you found one, you suddenly have 10 new problems. That's entrepreneurship. The reward for solving a problem is getting a brand new problem. So you better have a plan. Otherwise, you'll spend the next 2 months solving random problems and calling it productivity.
You want to be a man? You gotta have a plan. Here's my plan. The meat cutter, timber mixer, sausage stuffer, vacuum packaging machine. Buying it is pretty easy. All you need to do is just pay the money, right? The hard thing is you have to figure out, set it up in the kitchen and learning how to operate it properly. I need to make sure my work flow. Because I don't want, after I get my license, I'm standing there and reading the fucking instruction manual. At the same time, I need to finish all the compliance documents required for my license application. HACCP, SOP, SSOP, log. Of course, I can find someone to do it. There are plenty of people doing this. There are lots of counsel, agents. They will help you to finish all documents, but they take your money. Every dollar I spend before I make my first sale is a dollar that won't be there when I actually need it. When you do the business, the cash is not just about money, it's a survival. Then we come with packaging. And honestly, this part is way more important than most people think. Before anyone tastes my sausage, this is the package. Before they judge the product, they judge the box. So now apparently I need to become a packaging designer. And right after that, I need to build up my Shopify store. Not just to make it looks good, but actually understand how it works. Like how Shopify operates. Customer experience, the product page, checkout process, and backend operation. All of it. Because if I don't know how my own business works, then what the fuck I'm doing here? So you see the problem here? Everyone loves to talk about entrepreneurship. Like entrepreneurship give you freedom, give you money. But nobody talks about a part that you have to become 6 different professionals. In fact, last minute you are a factory operator, and the next minute you become a designer. And tomorrow you become a web developer. Even the customer representative. But in other words, this is also the beauty of entrepreneurship, doesn't it? Honestly, I don't know if I'm doing the right things or if I'm just making myself busy. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. I never thought starting a sausage business would be this difficult, but I guess that's a life. Nothing worth building ever comes easy. I'm not special. I'm just an ordinary guy, just like millions of other people. The only difference is I decide to take a shot doing something that isn't ordinary. Maybe I will fail, maybe I won't. But either way, I'd rather find out than spend the rest of my life and wondering, what if?